Hello, my name is Sister Nancy Kinross, and I've been a Sister of the Precious Blood for 60 years now. I was voted into the leadership team, and right after I was elected to be part of the team, I was asked to say something, and it was very simple and very easy to say, I am happy to serve you, sisters. And that's what I see leadership has been and will always be. It's servant leadership, because we serve our sisters and those others outside through our ministry. A second ministry I had in the last 10 years was taking care of my sister Mary Metzler. I brought her from Mississippi to Dayton, and because she had so many illnesses, I was able to place her in Maria Joseph Center, and I became her legal guardian, and I took care of her. And when we grew up, we were sisters, but we were not only sisters, we were friends. And I want to thank all the sisters who visit her at Maria Joseph, helped her in any way. Because I am retired, I have more time for prayer. My prayer life found me so close to God and appreciate many, many of God's blessings. I pray for others, have a very long list, and it's just easy to say to the Lord, and for all those I promise to pray. And I believe in the power of prayer, and I believe that God continues to guide and heal us, and that prayer is an important part of my life. And I have been fortunate to have a spiritual director over these years. To those who are discerning, those who are looking into it, be sure you have a discerner that is a good discerner that can really help you know what God is calling you to. And that's one of the roles of vocation directors. They help you discern whether it's to religious life or to married life or to single life. That discernment is always going to be part of your life. With the new members that have made their vows and are definitely a part so far, the discernment continues. It never stops. And even after you're professed for 10 years, you are still to discern what is God calling you to, just as we ask God, what is He calling us to? So I say welcome, walk with us, be yourself, continue to listen to God, and serve with us. Thank you.
I'm Sister Mary Garascia, and I'm celebrating my 60th Jubilee. I moved to Salem Heights 3 years ago, but I retired in 2016, so I was still working then as the leader of the Holy Name of Jesus Catholic community in Redlands, California, under the Canon Law 517.3, which allows bishops to appoint a non-ordained person to lead parishes. And I led that parish basically for about 8 years with some help from a priest in the last 2. We sisters don't have the grandchildren that our peers have. So we are missing a big piece of retired life that most people have. And I find it hard to fill up that space with being generative. It's hard to find things to do that make you feel that you're still giving to other people. So one of the things I do is run up to Michigan a couple times a year to help a person up there that is in some degree of need, and that's a good thing. And I also do literacy tutoring. We had a little kind of slowdown during COVID, but I actually continued during part of that time too. So that's very enjoyable for me. And I specialize in ESL people. So I've, over the years in California and here, I've done Japanese, Romanian, Indonesian, African, and Hispanic people, and Vietnamese. So I really appreciate getting in touch with all those different cultures. When I began doing the work of administrating parishes, one of my goals was to use my theological education to help people understand their faith, not just have faith, but to kind of have faith pegs to hang their faith on, and to translate some of our beliefs into understandable categories of thought. And so I kind of consider that sort of my long-term theological goal. And I'm still able to do some of that by writing occasionally for the diocesan paper of San Bernardino, and I do the scripture blogs for our website, so that keeps my mind going a little bit. And then to keep my body in shape, I do yard work around here, which I also enjoy, controlling the weeds and making the flower beds look presentable, making the house look presentable for visitors and sisters alike. And I'm real happy that we've got a couple more residents here at Salem Heights now that are helping with that work also.
My name is Marie Agnes Kopin, and I've been a sister 60 years. I can't believe it, but 60 whole years. I was teaching 2 years at the Michigan School for the Deaf after having gone to Central Michigan University for my bachelor's. And I was deciding which community. And so I was looking over a lot of communities. I interviewed probably with 10 or 12, including a trip to Chicago where a shirt-tail relative was living. And what a difference in communities. Oh my gosh. I contacted the sisters at Marion Hall in Flint, Michigan, and they even had me over for supper, which no other community ever did. I never got through the room we were talking in. Never showed me around, never had me meet anybody. Finally, we had an interview with Mother Aquinas. And if there's anybody new watching this, she was the president. We didn't call her that. So anyway, during the interview, she said, oh, by the way, what kind of teaching do you do? She knew I was a teacher. And I says, I'm a speech pathologist. And she says, oh, that is great. She said, you can be a pioneer in our community. And I almost fell off my chair because everybody else said classroom teaching, classroom teaching. So that really sticks out. My favorite memory is the times I have been with community, the times that Patty has come up to visit me with Madonna or other sisters. And I really enjoy that. But I also enjoy having all these Zoom things. It's a new way to be with community. You have to understand, I'm the only sister in 5 counties now of any kind. And we do have a Mother House of Mercy sisters to the south. And I have some friends in that are speech pathologists. And when Sister Barbara Jean came up here for summer school with me, and we went camping and everything together, then we met one at CMU, and I'm still friends with her, Sister Mary Yvonne. 1975, and I was full-time at CMU. I had worked summer schools for 4 summers before that, with Sister Barbara Jean coming along, and that was a great help. So I entered with 16 Dominican sisters in Sacred Heart Convent across the street from their school. So I experienced a whole different kind of community with the Dominicans. And of course, they kept kind of jokingly, but seriously saying, why don't you join us? Well, I had interviewed with them before I joined, and I could see they had Aquinas College, and there was no mention of how I could do speech therapy, nothing. So anyway, we compromised. They called me a precious Dominican. How is that? Precious blood and Dominican sister, precious Dominican. Well, I have sort of layers of ministry. The speech therapy I stumbled on when I was here at Central Michigan University. I knew nothing about it before I came here. I had tried a music curriculum, and the theory class was way too advanced because we didn't have music theory in high school at all in those days. So I looked through the curriculum book and I saw this, they called it speech correction in those days, and I liked the subjects for it. So then I started visiting some. So then I took the classes the next semester. Then I went back to music in the end. So that's how I got into speech pathology, and the music is a heritage thing. And so my mother was a concert violinist, and my dad did a lot of music, and my grandpa, one of them even directed a military band in the really old Crimean War. So I got a long history of music. So then I kept going to the Sisters of the Precious Blood, and I did music there. So I kind of combined the two all the way through. And then when I worked in parishes, I have a whole list of parishes where I played organ. We had organ then. They didn't have pianos for a while. And I directed choirs like in Ottawa, Ohio, and Putnam County. And then several places up here in Michigan. And later when cantoring came in, I trained cantors. I did cantor and everything else. But since then, after retirement, I'm going back to another family heritage that my dad nurtured me with, and that is the study of mycology and much more environmental study. Barbara Jean and I used to go up to my family cottage every weekend. And then we developed the backpacking trips. We did that together. I got the sites, and then she contacted everybody. We worked together on that. And we went all over Michigan and Canada and had a great time. Again, that's outdoor activities. Then after, especially my parents passed, I was much more free after elder care. I got very busy at the local level. I was secretary of the state club, and now I moved to the national level, and I'm chair of the education committee at the national level. I've won 2 awards at the national level, and I love doing forays. I work with all the park staff here and the Chippewa Watershed Conservancy, and I go up to East Tawas with the foresters every year. And before the pandemic, of course, I used to fly to the national meetings, but now we can watch some of that on Zoom, and we have Zoom meetings at the national level. So we're adapting, but I really love doing that. And it's more than, do you eat morels, Marie? Where are your morels? That's all some people know about. I have lots of fun with lots of species and teaching everybody about it. So I call my hunts educational field experiences. And like I say, they're all over in this county and then up by East Tawas, Michigan, which is by Saginaw Bay. So that's my real fun thing now. So it's kind of 3 things: speech therapy, music, and mycology. You young people, let God lead you. That's kind of how it's been. Just take advantage of what happens to you. Pray about it. God will tell you. That's the way it happened to me.
Hi, my name is Sister Carolyn Hoying, and I am out on the farm, which is where I basically work here at PBMR. First of all, just entering, I have to thank my parents very much for giving me that seed within myself to become a Sister of the Precious Blood since I was 6. Anyway, so that was one thing, my family. And then I think each step of what I have done in my history as a Sister of the Precious Blood also speaks well of how God has moved within me. As a teacher, first of all, and then you think, oh, now I became a principal, oh Lord, what are you going to do with that? And then I found out, they say you have some of those skills, use them. And so then I found out, oh, there's more to just a classroom. You have all the parents to work with, to support the kids, to support the school, to support the parish. Each stage taught me something, another part, and you can do it, you can do it. God has given you the talent, and just to remember what you're made of and who made you to be made up of that. Another memory I have is when a good memory when I had cancer and was in Colorado, and what the kids said, not to forget, sister, everything grows back. Everything grows back. I laughed so hard. Anyway, but they were there to welcome and just to support through that last period of time, 3 months or 2 months. And I think that God did that to me so I'd be able to say goodbye to that parish, which probably was my favorite, because 16 years and growing up with the parents and with their children and with their children's children that I can now see on Facebook and see how they're just growing, developing, and keeping the faith. So to me, those are real highlights. And in my family, just to watch how my God kids are doing so well. I have 5, and it just warms my heart to know that they're continuing on in the faith that they've been taught through their parents, and now some of them are graduating from high school. My greatest blessing when I came to minister here at the PBMR was when I suddenly was doing the garden. I prayed like crazy that the plants that we planted would grow, especially when our neighbors here said, yay, it's a religious have the garden, so it's going to be organic. And I about died. I'm like, oh no. So I prayed that everything would survive. And it has, and it's grown a lot. We're in the garden, which is now a farm. And I'm a farmer at heart. So I think, you know, I'm so happy when things are growing, and I watch out for the things. And when a plant dies, I die with it, I think. And say, oh well, you know, there are more. I think one thing is to remember who you are, who made you, why you were made, and what the gifts are that you have, to just bring them forth for whoever you are with, to build that relationship, which is really the relationship with God each time you see a new person or to see someone that you're working with. You know, I also think, like, you know, the higher the climb. I learned that when I was in Colorado, when we became the Eagles. That was our mascot there, and it was perfect because it brought back to mind the higher the climb, the broader the view. And I remember that resurrection. That's the first time I was asked for a mission. We've never been asked; we were just sent, and I think that was my greatest gift there, because it opened my eyes to a different culture, it opened my eyes to the beauty of what people bring with them to all of us in our world. And so I would say just listen with your heart, and if you have doubts, just delve deeper into your heart and see what was it that God caught you, how did he catch you, and how does he want you, and stay with that. Anyway, they want to know in Colorado, what did you do? What did you do? And I'm like, nothing. I just loved the kids. I loved the parents. I loved everyone. I just loved them for who they were. We all worked together. And I think that's what our faith does for us. I think that's what God does. He wants us all to be together and to be happy. And and to give back all that we've been given in our life. I can't believe it's 60 years for sure. 50 I thought was already a lot. And like the eagle can live 70 if he's strong, if the eagle is strong, and I'm thinking I am now at 79. I'm not sure this eagle is that strong, but I think so. I think, you know, you can tough it, pull out those old feathers that need to come out so that you have strength to keep on flying. And I think just to know that we will rise again, and we just will rise. And I love you all, and I am so grateful for all that you did when I was in vocation ministry. I could never have done it without you all. So I just want to say thank you for that. And thank you for always being there for us.
What a beautiful group of sisters we have, and it's a pleasure being with them.